and gentlemen, boys and girls, hockey fans around the world, welcome back to Party Package. My name is Owen. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the savior of entertainment and the prophet of joy. And today, I am going to bring you the Chicago Blackhawks season preview. Way too early, but real quick shout out to everyone who could decided to click on my Boston Bruins video. It is my first ever 100 views video. It makes me really happy. It makes my month. It's made my week. I can't underestimate how much it made me feel good to see that. It's really what drives me. Really makes the gears start grinding seeing those numbers go up there. So thank you if you clicked on that one and you've wind up back on this one. Thank you so much. It's highly appreciated. And if you did, too sweet. I love you. Anyways, last time I talked about the Calgary Flames, a team that is currently trying to stay in the limelight, try to stay successful, but probably dooming themselves to a grim fate in a year or so. But today, we are looking at a team with absolutely no future, absolutely no hopes, absolutely no expectations, a team that is in utter shambles, and it literally is going to fail no matter what happens. We are looking at the terrible team that is known as the Chicago Blackhawks, a team that has no idea what they're doing with themselves. By the way, I'm wearing, I hope you know, CM Punk. This one's the Chicago flag stuff. And back here is a Hangman Adam Page shirt. He's a cowboy. If you can figure out the whole point of that shirt is, I'll give you, if you type it down below in the comments, and I'll give you a prize. But anyways, today, the Blackhawks are a team that is doing everything wrong. Everything the opposite of what they should be doing. And here we are today. They trade away at the draft Kirby Dach to the Canadiens, and they trade DeBrincat to the Senators for absolutely nothing in return. Really. Toews and Kane are still on the team. Two guys, well, Toews out of his prime being paid $10.5 million, and Kane, who is still way in his prime, being paid $10.5 million, get 92 points, is literally the only people on this team. Everyone else on this team is either a couple of once-in-a-while pretty solid pickups at a trade deadline to make your team, to bolster your team up a little bit, or a fourth-line player / scratch. On offense. On defense, you have only Jones, McCabe, and Murphy, and then the rest are all nobody AHL people. And then on goaltending, you have Peter Mrazek and Alex Stalock. Could this team be any worse? I don't know what their thought process is. Riddle me this. They trade DeBrincat, their best young forward, maybe the newest, brightest future of a team possible, like a Braden Point where he just drives the offense and just drives forward and has all the talent in the world. You have him. And Kirby Dach, a big guy that can play the game and can score and will be a solid future centerman in the NHL. You trade them away. The future of your team. If I told you that, you would think, well, maybe this team doesn't need them and they're bringing in some better players. Nope, they just trade them away for nothing. And they keep the two guys that are on their way out probably soon enough. Now, after they make those trades, what do? They decide to sign Max Domi and Andreas Athanasiou. Why? Why would they keep them? And they lose Kubalik, they lose Lankinen, so they lost their breakout young guy, and they also lose their young good goaltender that's actually playing pretty well. And in return, they're getting nothing. This team is obviously trying to be bad. They're obviously tanking, trying to get Connor Bedard. But they're doing it in all the wrong ways possible. Everything that they are doing to do that is wrong. They needed to get rid of Kane and Toews to try to secure, I don't know how they would secure that first pick next year. I don't know how they would do that, but that's how you do it. You get rid of Kane and Taze is already kind of on his way out. And you just make your team as worse as possible. Instead, they keep Kane, their best player. They get rid of their second best player, who is a young, I think he's 24, amazing player, 23-year-old Kirby Doc. They're making all the wrong moves. Now, usually I go over their offense, I go over their defense, I go over their goaltending. Are they going to make it to the playoffs? Are they going to do good in the playoffs? Who's going to be their star? Who's going to be their dark horse player? And if they are going to make it to the playoffs, what do they need to fix? What do they need to do to move forward? Or what's the goal? The goal of this season for them is to tank as much as possible. Do they make the playoffs? Of course not. Who's going to be their star player? Patrick Kane, if he's on the team, I guess, but he's going to be the star player any team he's on. Dark horse player? Nobody. I guess Reichel. He's cool. This team is an absolute disgrace to everything that is known as the Chicago Blackhawks. A team that is once... whatever. A team that was once in its prime. A team that was once a dynasty in the last decade is now... makes no sense in what they're trying to do. I guess Bedard's a great player, but I don't really know if it's worth sacrificing everything for one player to be on your team. This team is making all the backwards trades, all the worst moves that they could possibly make to be bad. It makes no sense what they're doing. This team, there's nothing to talk about. There's no substance here for me to talk about. The only thing I can say is how bad this team is going to be. Johnson, Blackwell, Radish, Entwistle, Kurashev, Kyra, and Lafferty are all fourth line to maybe third line players. Athanasiou and Domi are solid third line players that are not terrible, but they're like, they have their moments, but usually they're just pretty not amazing. Reichel, I guess, is interesting. He's a young, good prospect. On defense, Vlasic, I guess he's a prospect, I guess. Seth Jones is Seth Jones, I guess. He got 51 points, which isn't the worst for a defenseman. McCabe, Murphy, Stillman, Jones. Everything about this team is terrible. There's nothing to talk about. This team is just tanking. They're not worried about getting good at anything. They're just trying to lose. There's really nothing for me to talk about this team, other than the fact that they're making the possible worst moves in the world. They needed to get rid of Kane to make sure that they have... they get rid of Kane, so then they're even worse, because Kane is their best player. They're already going to be terrible. They just have to hope that they're the worst team in the world. So, and get rid of Kane, trying to get rid of Taze maybe. I don't know what to talk about. This team's going to suck. There's nothing special about this team. There's nothing to look forward about this team. This team is just going to be bad. And that's all I have to say about it. So, that's really all I have to say about the Chicago Blackhawks. This is a team that is a complete disgrace to hockey. A complete and utter disgrace to the team that used to be a decade ago. And it's not going to be interesting to see what happens this year. It'll be interesting to see if they can trade Kane, because Kane's contract, the problem with Kane is that he's making $10.5 million, and a team that he would want to go to would be a contender. But the thing about contenders is that they don't have players to get rid of to clear out $10.5 million. Let's just say the Rangers, right? They'd have to get rid of someone good to take him back, you know? And I don't really know if the Rangers, who is probably the number one pick for him to go to, can really move out that money, especially since they just signed Vincent Trocheck. I don't really know who they would move out to bring in Kane, especially that they're a team that's already brimmed to the top of offensive talent. So I don't know where Kane's going to go. I don't know where Kane would... I don't know what they're going to do with him. Taze, I don't see them moving him out. Domi and Athanasiou are just going to be blah. This team sucks, and that's really all I have to say. So I guess until next time, I want you to pick up your free subscription down below by hitting that red subscribe button. Hit the little ding bell that pops up next to it to make sure you get all notifications for the future. excuse me. Make sure you leave a like, not a dislike, but you can go down below to the comment section and leave any types of reviews, comments, concerns, suggestions, feedback, and other sorts of tangents, rants, and other opinions you'd like to leave down below. And I guess until next time, I have been the party. And thank you for watching. And thank you for getting me to 100 views on that one video. And I guess that's all. So, too sweet. Wait, there we go. Too sweet. That looked better. And ta-ta for now.